I'm Tania Creamer. I'm the founder and director of Heart of Phoenix Equine Rescue, who produces the Appalachian Trainer Face-Off. The Appalachian Trainer Face-Off was born as a way to allow trainers to come in, donate 100 days of training to a horse, and then ultimately compete for a large cash prize and then get 50% of the adoption fees raised for these horses. So it's a 3-day event. You have a horse going through being judged on their basic skills the first day, things you just expect any horse to do. The next day we do a trail obstacle course, so the horse will see water obstacles, real life obstacles, open closed gates. Sometimes we have livestock involved in that course, over things, through things, just establishing how many things has this horse been exposed to and how do they react. The final part of the event, which is what the audience and spectators and the adopters and trainers all wait for, is the freestyle. And that can be all sorts of things. You may have cannons, gunfire, pyrotechnic obstacles. It's just, the sky's the limit as to what the trainer and the horse decide to do. We're looking for partnership, and we're looking for how much time did you put into this? And it always ends up being something that just wows the audience. So we have an amateur division that allows for a younger competitor to be involved. It allows for qualified individuals that maybe do not have a large client base yet, and they're not making their primary income possibly from horse training, but they're headed there. Then we have the professional division, and these are folks who have been doing this a long time. They have a large client base. They probably have a large social media presence. They have experience potentially with feral horses and unhandled horses, so they are able to step in, compete in this event, and take on some of the more challenging horses. We also have a third non-competitive division called showcasing. So if you're a trainer that says, I'm just not into competing, you can still showcase a horse, bring the horse to the event, go through the whole social media event, and then not compete, but the horse is here, adoptable, and goes through the adoption auction. A horse without training is not a rehomable horse. The Appalachian Trainer Face-Off existing is the primary way these horses end up with a home. We just saw adoption fees, multiple adoption fees this year at the auction of over $12,000. I remember a decade ago finding it impossible to convince anyone that a rescued horse was worth anything. So Erin O'Neill, she picked Mercury. She took the approach that allowed Mercury to heal and forget what had happened. And as it went along, she wrote this blog about him being a horse with a broken heart.
He was pretty roughed up, abused pretty bad, significantly.
Erin opted to not do a freestyle with him and said, I just want to talk about his story.
For the last 100 days, he put his heart back together, and it is better than it ever was.
He ended up adopting out for more than $12,000. And it was a home that Erin said that's where he needs to be. So Troubadour came from the poorest county in America, McDowell County, West Virginia. He was a little colt tied in this barn in mud and nails and just a horrible situation. We were afraid he was not going to be there, and if they had moved him in that county, we would never have been able to find him. But fortunately, he was still there, skin and bones, emaciated little colt. We thought about letting him go in the ATFO for 2019, and we held him a whole year so that he could grow and just be healthy enough. Laura Thunderberg, she said, if he's in next year, I hope I get to pick him. And we pulled Laura's name, and Troubadour was still available. And she was like, yes, I've been waiting a year for this.
He was a blank slate. He was a neglect case, but had zero training. So I was able to just bring him along without any abuse or baggage or anything. And he's so willing and so kind, and he likes people.
So it was great to see her be able to be the trainer that took him through those 100 days. Chip is unusual because we take a lot of horses from Ohio, but it's very rare that locally the counties that border West Virginia sees horses. If you see Chip now, to believe that that horse could ever have been skeletal, it almost defies logic.
He was by far the most challenging horse I've had in my career of training.
This was a horse that, based on how his life had gone, should have ended up in a truck headed to an auction and probably to Mexico to be slaughtered.
He was a handful. I mean, that same ring is the ring that I had to corral him in to get him on the trailer, and I'm riding him in it.
So watching him with Michelle, she really took an approach that we could appreciate knowing him as well as we did, and ultimately he was adopted and lives a mile down from the rescue.
It was the first day. I thought maybe we'd hit day 3 and everyone would want Chip, and I would just take him home and call it a day, but he'll be gone. He has an adoption, so.
We had an instance with Randy and Zazu. They won the 2020 ATFO professional division. That horse took us 2 weeks to round up his feral herd. He had a herd, he was the lead stallion, he was totally untouchable, and at the end, for his freestyle, he rides Zazu bareback, bridleless. Jumping obstacles like they're just one being.
Even though he had no human interaction, like, he's always looking to see what you're wanting.
It was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen.
He's a very willing horse, and he's always ready to work. He never says no, which is awesome. I did this to help him, and I think that if he finds a good home, he'll make whoever buys him happy.
I think that the format of the Appalachian Trainer Face-Off works really well to increase awareness for adoption because people get excited about it. It makes more people want to adopt. It's also an amazing fundraiser. Ultimately, I think that the Appalachian Trainer Face-Off could become a national competition for adoptable rescued horses to find homes. I'd like to see it become a collaborative between multiple good organizations where we host regional competitions and then we have a national competition. So I'm going to tell trainers that are interested, put the application in. Let us consider it. The more trainers that decide to get involved, the more people who apply and adopt, the more lives we save.